Okay, Jack, let's take our Max Verstappen caps off for a second. We've been praising him all season for the job that he's been doing, but seriously, Austria was not great, was
No,
it?
it was Max Verstappen. He's defaulted back to himself
Yes.
again from back in the day, 2021 and before.
Yep.
What a knobhead.
Why has he done that, though? Like,
Well, I don't know. I really don't know. And it doesn't help the way Red Bull just coddle him all the
no.
time. It's at a point now that they've just got to grow up, move on, and think what they're doing because their credibility is just going down every time. It's like they think Max is blameless and can do no wrong.
Yeah, and you're obviously going to get drivers and teams taking sides. I mean, that's obvious, but
Yeah,
to not acknowledge that Max possibly played a fault in that incident, even if they don't 100% place it on Max's shoulders, is a bit ridiculous when you're literally sat there watching it and
yeah.
going, Max is literally under braking moved over to Norris. Norris, by the way, right on the white line. If not, he's on the curb
You
and
couldn't
then
go
off
any
the track.
further.
No, he's well within his right to be on the track where he was. Could he maybe have moved out the way? Some will argue yes, but at the end of the day, he's well within his right to be where he was. Max shouldn't have turned into
100%.
him.
I mean,
So,
it's reminiscent of was it 2018 Austria, Hamilton and Vettel going up into that corner.
it
There's a
was
little moment.
reminiscent of 2016 Hamilton, wasn't it?
2016
Last lap.
Mercedes. We had a reminiscent of Charles and Hamilton at Monza.
Yep.
Remember that one going into turn four, was it? And that chicane. There's a Hamilton trend going on here.
Yeah, there is.
None
Hamilton
of
seems to be
which none,
involved.
none of which was his fault.
Yeah, funny enough.
It's a bit weird that one.
People like doing that to Hamilton. Or British drivers, apparently.
You've got all the way through 2021. Obviously, a couple of them were Hamilton's fault. A few of them were Max's fault. But we've seen this with Max over many years. We obviously had Max in China just send it, take Vettel out.
Yep.
And
Max
it's
send it, take Vettel out in. Oh no, that was Vettel taking Max out, won it in
yeah,
Silverstone.
that
Yeah,
that was
that was Vettel. That was Vettel. Yeah, get his
yeah.
own back.
But no, you got to think is the whole season like since February we've had all this Red Bull turmoil going on. Do you think maybe it's now got into Max's head with this Yoss and Christian drama boiling up again?
No, I
Do you
know
not?
people. Well, I think it makes a nice headline because Martin Brundle also has said that he's making no excuses for him, but he believes that despite how talented Max is as a driver, the reason he's now started to sort of go back to the Max 1.0 as he described it is because of this drama with his dad and Christian Horner and Red Bull and Adrian Newey and everything that's been going on since the start of the season. But I disagree. You know, when you're a racing driver, your head's in the game. Everything else doesn't matter. You know, you're on track for a
Yeah.
reason. He's not going to be going into turn 3 with Lando thinking about how much his dad and Christian Horner have pissed him off over the last couple of months. Oh, I need to take it out on Lando Norris. That's not how a racing driver thinks. I think
Well, I don't think
maybe
we know how Max Verstappen thinks, to be honest.
no, I don't think anyone does, but it's not what he's going to be thinking. It's going to be I think what it more is, in my opinion anyway. I mean, it might have a part to play in his mentality
Could be a
in
distraction there. Like, obviously, it's his dad. Him and his dad have a really close bond. Christian and Max seemed to have a really close bond throughout these years of winning. So it could be hard for him in terms of it's his dad, it's his team principal, the car. He's not out and out right winning. He's got a challenge now. It could all just be boiling up a little bit in him. You don't know. I wouldn't have thought so, but you never know.
I don't know. I think it's more of a case of I in my opinion, I think it's a lot worse than that because I think that does give him slightly a bit of an excuse.
Yeah.
I think personally, I think we've all been wrong about Max Verstappen this whole time. I think we
Hang
have.
on. Where are we going with this?
I think we really have been wrong about Max Verstappen because everyone's been saying since the end of 2021, he's been a lot more relaxed in his interviews. He's been a lot more He's been
That's because
he's
no one's within
gotten
30 fucking seconds of him.
he's become a lot more likable as a person over the last, because he was absolutely insufferable in 2021, but
He's still
after then
up
he has
top of it.
he's become genuinely a likable person around the paddock. His
Not
post-race
for me.
interviews, his post-race interviews are funny. He cracks a joke here and there. He's friends with
He
Lando.
does.
He's friends with but this relaxed nature is come from the fact that he doesn't really have a challenge, and now he does. He's shown that relaxed nature isn't on the track where it needs to be the most. He could have. I mean, we see it with Hamilton. Hamilton was fiery as Max was in 2021 back in his first seasons, and especially 2011 was a mad year for Lewis Hamilton. But since then, Hamilton had calmed down. He'd only gone for the moves when he needed to in certain situations in the championship. He'd backed out. There was a few instances with Max in 2021, but apart from that, Hamilton had calmed down.
Yeah.
We thought the same could have happened with Max. Maybe he's a little bit more calculated. Maybe he's a little bit more cautious, knowing that, if it comes back around later in the season, he might have a better chance of winning the title. But
I've never thought that. I've always thought if you're in a battle with Max Verstappen, you've got to be prepared to take damage on your car. That was back in the day, and it's now as well. I've always thought that. I've never agreed with anyone who said Max Verstappen's fully calmed down now. I can guarantee you now, if he's put into, we know anyone who comes up to battle Max Verstappen, you have to 100% go all in and push him off. Otherwise, he's hitting you. Simple as that. Imola, I guarantee, 5 laps more, Norris would have been alongside, they would have crashed. Max Verstappen, for all his brilliance and his speed, I think what lacks most is his mentality in battling. Don't get me wrong, his overtaking is phenomenal, but his defense is over the line.
And this is one thing that... Well, you must be the prophet, because everyone, it was almost universally agreed that everyone thought he's gotten to that phase of his career where he is a little bit more calmer, and that unlocks this almost unbeatable version of him. But when he is challenged, apparently, he's gone right back to how we all remember him from the 2018-19 days.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Like, everyone's... I spoke to quite a few people, actually, about this. Everyone who's come to me and said, oh, he's calmed down now. You never see him crash. You never see him fucking crash anymore in 2022 and 23 because no one's within 30 fucking seconds of him. Anyone who gets within a second of him, as we've seen now, crash.
Yeah.
Like, I can't deal with this. Like, Max fans need to accept that their driver that they support, he's ridiculously hot-headed, and that needs to change, because if 2021 comes back around again on the level of closeness, like with more than one driver, Max is going to draw the short straw, because he will crash with Hamilton, he'll crash with Charles, he'll crash with Lando. Like, Max will crash with everyone, no one else will crash with anyone else but Max.
It'd be interesting to see multiple drivers in that battle, because we haven't seen that yet. Against Max.
We've only seen Max one-on-one with someone. I want to see a season where there's 4 or 5 drivers. And where does Max end up? Because I guarantee Max is further down because he's crashed into multiple of them.
Well, I mean, we're theorizing now. We'd have to see, obviously. It's interesting, isn't it? I think I heard someone say, it might have actually been Tommy from P1 said something very interesting, that he feels like Max is very much Ayrton Senna-esque, where Ayrton Senna, like, he was the driver that if you tried to overtake him, or if Ayrton Senna tried to overtake you, he's coming through, or else you are crashing with him.
Yeah.
And Max is very much like that, in the sense that if he wants to overtake you, he's overtaking you, and if you defend how Max defends, he is going to hit you, and you are both going to retire.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it feels. And I totally agree, because Max
Yeah.
has displayed this in Austria, that he could have let Lando go through and probably still won the race because of his penalty. Like, very easily. But he wants to finish first that badly that he ain't letting him through, no matter what the case.
That's not. It's not a bad thing that he wants to finish first that badly either. That's a good mentality to have. But in them circumstances where your constructors' championship is closing,
Yes, it is. Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
it is closing. Like, it's not done for Red Bull this year.
no.
I think you've just got to be a bit more wary, and I think that is still the thing that separates Max from Hamilton as well nowadays. Like, sideswipe this to Hamilton. If you swap Max and Hamilton round, Hamilton knows Lando's getting a 5 second. He's not battling that hard for that. He's just going to coax round behind him. That's what Max should have done.
Yeah,
that's what we said yesterday as well.
Yeah.
And what pisses me off the most, though, with Max Verstappen isn't actually Max Verstappen. Right?
Bye.
It's Red Bull. It's the team. Every incident that occurs with him, straight away you hear on the radio, "Oh, Max, that's not your fault, mate. That's not your fault." Monza, 2021. "Max, that's not your fault. You've just ended up taking him out. That's fine." Lando, it's not, "Oh, Max, that was Lando's fault. He's on your outside."
I mean, that one was ridiculous. I mean, Monza, to be fair, was a little bit... I mean, obviously, I do believe it was Max's fault, but it was, you know, if you twist it from a certain angle, you could say, okay, Hamilton should give him more room, even though he's entitled to the line. Hamilton could have avoided the incident, even though he is entitled to be there. Lando probably couldn't. He was just there. He's not expecting Max to drift over to him like that. That was ridiculous. At least with Hamilton's scenario, Max was on the inside of the corner. Lando's on the outside of the corner. Where else do you want him to go? There's literally nowhere else to go. It's ridiculous.
The Red Bull's mentality, though, towards Max Verstappen and crashing is it's never Max's fault. And I hate that.
Yeah.
Red Bull need to sort themselves out, because their credibility when it comes to incidents now is just dropping, as Brundle said. And I can't deal with it anymore.
No, it's ridiculous. And
it is really pissing me off when I see this now.
I mean, luckily...
Radio. Like, I get heat at the moment when it happens. "Oh, yeah, Max, we agree with you, blah, blah, blah." But the fact is, they come on at the end of the race, several laps later.
Yeah.
And still like, "Oh, it's Lando's fault. You've done great here, Max. Blah, blah, blah. It's unfortunate that Lando's crashed into you." Like, fuck off, Red Bull.
Like, I think it looks bad, though, doesn't it? Because I get... The issue is, it's because Lando was very aggressive in the laps leading up.
Oh, Lando was hugely aggressive.
So it looks bad on Lando because it looks like it's come from Lando being overly aggressive.
The aggressor.
But so I understand it from that point of view, but the incident
itself,
the incident isolated from what happened the laps prior, is completely and utterly Max's fault, 100%.
Well,
so
that's the thing. That's the thing with Max Verstappen, isn't it? If you go aggressive on him, he's coming 10 times more aggressive on you.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He'll come from 8/10 back and just dive one.
Yeah.
He will. I mean, we saw in the sprint, Lando dive one on him because he knows he has to do that to Max, otherwise they fucking crash. Max comes back out of nowhere and just sends it into Narnia.
Yeah, no, I love that, though. That was great.
It was a great move. Great. Don't get me wrong. When it pulls off, it's a great move. But the more and more that this is going to go on throughout the season, where these guys are closer to him, where Lando's closer, maybe the Ferraris come back and get closer. You see George and Lewis maybe even closer. I think we're going to see more and more incidents with Max.
I love it. I can't wait because I love hard racing between these guys. But Max does take it too far sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. I mean, going back to the Red Bull thing, though, as well. Red Bull, I just want to touch on. They got so lucky, by the way, because both of their main competitors for the constructors scored less points than them this weekend. Because Lando retired and Charles finished 11th. Mercedes scored the most points.
Yeah.
But they're not within reach of Red Bull, I don't think, for the constructors this year.
I
So
don't
Red Bull
think
got very lucky. Red Bull got very, very lucky.
they did. I mean, Silverstone's going to be interesting coming up now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Silverstone's going to be very interesting.
I mean, Lando. Did you see Lando's quotes about the incident after?
Yeah.
He said something about he doesn't like if Max can't admit something, he's lost respect.
Yeah, I mean it's fair enough. He said if Max, if Max admits, some fault was his and they can come to an agreement, he said that's fair enough. See where it goes from there. But if he can't, then
brew up.
Well, we were. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've mentioned it on the stream. I think it was probably back in Imola. We were saying, if these two are friends, if the championship battle heats up, just like how it did between Rosberg and Hamilton, etc., they're not going to be friends anymore. It's not going to happen.
No.
So,
no, they're not.
But I think there's definitely more to come with Lando and Max, and I think there's definitely going to be another crash or two. I can sense it coming.
I can feel it already.
Yeah, especially with Silverstone around the corner, which is notorious for. I mean, we saw in 2022. Luckily, Perez, Charles, Hamilton, none of them hit each other, but there was hard racing then. Imagine if that's Max in that battle. We're gonna see something.
If that's Max in that battle, one of them's not finishing the race.
Well, we might see it with Max and Lando this weekend. So
yeah,
there's a good chance.
We could see it with the Mercedes in there as well.
Well, we'll see, won't we? We'll see.
Yeah.
But either way, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below. Who do you agree with? Is that you want? Do you support Lando? Do you support Max? What's the verdict here?
Lando. I'm Team Lando. 100%.
I'm Team Lando. 100%. I'm not just because I'm a Max Verstappen hater.